What does this league do this year for the development of your big guys when they're going against a really good big guy seemingly every game?
Right. Well, obviously it's, when you see a lot of teams that play the same way and a team that plays a little bit differently, I think it's a hard adjustment. I think anytime you're in a league when you're different than everybody else, that adjustment's a little bit harder. But with our league, it just seems like, everybody has, that quality big guy, at least one quality big guy. That's not always been the case. It's hard to get true point guards that can make everybody better and score the ball, and it's hard to get true big guys that can score with their back to the basket. I don't know how many coaches I've said, well, there's just not enough big guys out there that can score with their back to the basket, so we don't double or we don't mess with it and we just stay one-on-one. And in this league, you can't do that unless you just have a good rim protector or a couple rim protectors, because you get that guy in foul trouble. But obviously Luka Garza's a great player, has been very productive and can score in a variety of ways. So sometimes you get those guys that just anchor you and it's hard to deal with him, but he moves around, he makes threes. He's got a good mid-range game, he's got a good sigma. Loves to really wheel and deal in the post. You can come and double him and he'll split you, he'll shoot over you. So you have to make it hard on him, and you also got to accept when he makes tough shots. Don't let him live at the free throw line. Don't let him get easy layups. Just try your best to make him earn everything.
Can it help that you have two big guys to throw at?
I hope. Anytime you feel comfortable about playing your backup as a big, we'd always talk about that with the bigs that we've had in the past, and the more you can give them the ball, the more we can get to the free throw line, the more we can see their backup. We have a great backup center, maybe the best backup center right now in college basketball. Not very many people bring somebody off the bench like a Matt Harm. So, both of those guys, have to work very hard, and that's the thing with, I told him yesterday about Luka Garza. He's just a hard-working guy. Beating the spots, don't let him get angles, box him out, but that takes effort. He's the type of guy that you can do those things to him, 3 or 4 times in a row, and he's going to keep coming. He in that 5th and 6th time, he's going to break through and get that basketball and score it or make you foul him or keep him off the glass. So, you have to be diligent in your work, and you just got to keep plugging every possession.
Do you want to get Harms more involved offensively when he's on the floor?
Yeah, we that's something we wanted to do all year. I think that requires better decision making. I think people sell out to his dives a lot, more. And so whether you're trying to get him in the low post or diving or getting post ups, he gets a lot of attention there. And I think if our decision making is good and we're more efficient offensively, that really helps him and making shots. I think anytime you can make some three-pointers and spread the defense out, it opens up things for him. But when we're forcing things or we're not shooting the ball well, it makes it hard to get him the basketball where he's comfortable.
I know Travion was on the floor at the end, but you had those situations where your guard had to make the right decision. Eric makes the jumper, and then he obviously makes the right play at the end. Was that a little bit of a breakout moment there for your guys executing in that sort of situation?
He also drove and got a fast break, kind of a pseudo fast break. Where he got to the rim and made a nice running shot. So Eric had a handful of plays in there. Our team did. Jihad obviously makes a really tough step back three. But our decision making, screening, decision making, it all goes hand in hand. How they're guarding the ball screen, how they're guarding screens away from the basketball. It's all reads that we work on. And you have to be under control. Sometimes it's not a perfect thing, but if you play on 2 feet, you're going to have a lot more options than if you play on 1 foot.
Can you talk about this team outside of Luka Garza? What makes them challenging, maybe on the perimeter as well?
Well, Wieskamp is having an all-conference year, and C.J. Frederick is a redshirt freshman who's just been outstanding for him. And he's more. Both those guys can shoot, but they're much more than shooters. Wieskamp can get you off the offensive glass. He can drive the basketball. He's great at curling off of screens. He's got a pull-up, and C.J. Frederick's got a lot to his game too. Just very, very competitive guys that you got to know where they are at all times. So you throw their two skill sets along with Luka Garza, and it's been for a great combination for Fran this year.
Coach, we've had a few starting lineups this season. Do you have an idea of who you want to go with, or if not, what are sort of the factors you're still thinking about?
We're still kind of considering, for us, it goes back and forth, and Brian alluded to it, is just, how do you think preparing for the game? Do you think, you'd like to think both ways in terms of what's the best thing for us offensively and what's the best thing for us defensively, and have the same answer. We don't have the same answer. We just don't. So, you got to make a calculated decision in terms of like who you want to start. Sometimes like our best guys sometimes hasn't been the best guys for us to start a game. Like Eric Hunter didn't start first half, started the second half, but he played 35 minutes. He was good in the game. That was good for him, I guess. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to start him the next game. But just trying to figure that out, and that's been hard. Probably as hard for me for a long time, in trying to get that figured out. Because if it was an obvious answer, it wouldn't be a question. I don't have the obvious answer for that. I think, February and March is like when you separate yourself, and the more we can be consistent and have guys play consistent on both ends, I think will solidify, that for us. But as a coach, you got to play off your feel sometimes when the answer doesn't come through, through the numbers.
Right.
Well, I'll talk about defending Garza, but what, from an offensive standpoint, what do you need from your post, from all your big guys to maybe be aggressive?
Yeah, just work. If you want to, mess around with him and not get deep position, or not hold him accountable or whatever. I think any player that I've had that was a good offensive player for us, one of the hardest things for it was going against someone, that worked at the other end. Just making him work and making anybody who guards those guys work, and not giving into it. We don't need 15-foot post-ups. We need deep, post-ups. We need our guys to be able to deliver the basketball. But we also just got to live in the paint. I think anytime you're putting pressure on the defense by getting the ball to the paint, whether that's on drives or offensive rebounds or cuts, you just constantly got to be doing that. And that's something that Iowa does a great job of. They do a great job of living in the paint, off of all those actions.
Just talking about Sasha real quick, I know he's struggled shooting the ball the past few games. How much can one shot, like what happened against Northwestern, change someone's confidence like that and sort of get
I think
back
it'd be
into the rhythm?
huge, just because it meant so much. It's a big shot. It's a game winner. He was somebody that has, really played well in home games in terms of his shooting. I shouldn't say played well. He shot well. He's done some good things for us, even when he struggled shooting the basketball. But he just hasn't got going on the road, and so hopefully that can help him, and give him some confidence. But whether you're making him or missing him, you just got to keep working. A guy like him who shot 40%, in the past, he's just got to keep working, and he's had some huge games for us.